Out of the dark night he walked, his hands trained in the art of killing, his brain a seething ferment of destruction. His eyes saw life, and his heart loved the grave, for he was the man who was death. Edgar Beaumont was the executioner at State's prison. His hands were deft with cap and braces, but his heart seemed formed of stone. Everything's ready. Soon they will bring him in here, sniveling and weeping. No. No. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I'm scared. Scared. He didn't think of this when he was killing his brother. Edgar Beaumont was a careful workman. He checked his switches and his wires carefully, even as the screaming killer was fastened to the chair. I'll do anything. Give me another chance. I didn't know it would be like this. They never know until it's too late. The executioner moved his hand downward with a deft motion of his wrist. All over the prison, the cell block lights dimmed. He said it. So long, fella. After each death, Edgar Beaumont went out into the night, walking with head lowered, his soul exulting. He was a bad man. He paid the penalty. And I was fate's instrument to bring him to his doom. Day after day, night after night, it was always the same. Spineless weaklings, every last one of them. I thought this one would be different. She's supposed to be cold and human. But she yells just like the rest. She killed, and so she dies. That guy just loves his work, doesn't he? I'll say. I wouldn't take it on a bet, but he sets famous on account of it. Edgar Beaumont's fame spread to nearby states. Prisons sent him invitations to attend their executions as guest of honor. In this state, we have a gas chamber. Would you care to release the gas? I certainly would, sir. It will be a new experience for me. Yes. Hanging is the method in this state. It is quick and sure. Care to press the rope release? From ocean to ocean, the name of Edgar Beaumont became known. He was a symbol of justice. His hands were quick and certain. He killed calmly, quickly. With him, death was a servant to his bidding. He went on the radio, on television. And then, one afternoon in the warden's office of the state prison. Nothing much doing for you, Edgar. Seems people have been behaving themselves lately. No death penalties at all. That won't keep up. There are always people going off their trolley. I am not worried. But as the days went by, Casper Jors, not guilty. Arthur Bowie, not guilty. What's the matter with those juries, anyhow? Not guilty. Not guilty? 10 murderers. In as many weeks, and now all of them set free? Fools, that's what those juries consist of. Fools. Well, I'm no fool, I know they were guilty. With time on his hands, Edgar Beaumont attended many murder trials. We find the defendant, George Flood, not guilty. We find the defendant, Betty Bates, not guilty. That's all they can say, the idiots. They're guilty. Guilty of murder. And the state executioner, it's up to me to execute them. Of course. I'm being tested by some higher authority. If I fail, they'll take my job away. An executioner. Of course. That's what I am. And sincere, I'll execute. That night, as Casper Jones walked home from work, just 3 weeks after a jury freed him, his hand will touch the iron fence gate. And when fit does. Dead by execution. It was a simple matter to rig up my wires, so I could flood that metal gate with enough electricity to kill a dozen murderers. He is only the first. There are many others that deserve to die and at will. 2 nights later, in a little upstate camp, Arthur Bowie prepared for bed. Think I'll take a nice warm shower. It will help me sleep. Let me forget my murder trial. Safe. Safe at last, after all those months of worry. I don't know who killed Jim, but I didn't. And thank goodness. The jury believed me. dead. One more has paid the supreme penalty for his evil. But there are others. Many others freed from their fate by a stupid jury. To have died. George Flew was freed by a jury. I was there myself to hear the testimony in his case. But he shall not escape justice. It was on a wild and stormy night that George Flood closed his account books and walked toward his little suburban home. I guess I'm just about the happiest man in the entire world. Here comes the murderer now. A snip of wire cutters and insulation gloved hands. When this live wire touches Flood in his rain-wet clothes, it will be just as effective as the electric chair he cheated. Ag. Death for the wicked. He cheated death once, but it has claimed him forever. He will not kill again. In the police stations, hard-faced detectives are gathering to discuss the electric deaths. Everyone's been killed by electricity. Odd, isn't it? A jury saved them all, yet fate conspired to execute them after all. I'm not so sure it was fate. I think it was a man. Maybe I'm wrong, but we'll soon find out. Watch Betty Sates. A jury freed her a month ago. If a man is out to kill her, he'll try soon. You were right, we'll guard her night and day. Next day, a plainclothes man took up his position, always with his eyes fastened on the former prisoner of the law. That man with the newspapers is a detective. I've seen him at the big house lots of times. This execution will have to be my masterpiece. The police will try to stop me, but I must not let them. This will require some thought. On a windswept, stormy night some weeks later, Betty Sates leaves her office. Waiting for her is a grim, dark-clad figure. I'll be hidden in the shadows, a quick leap and then to lift her into the wooden water trough, where high-voltage wires will electrocute her. But even as the executioner leaped forward, hidden by darkness and the shadows, a brilliant bolt of electricity, lightning, lighted up the scene like a beam of sunlight. Look out! There's a man there. If it hadn't been for that lightning, I wouldn't have seen him until after he lifted Miss Sates and tossed her that electrically treated water. Some months later, in the big house, a screaming man was going toward the electric chair. There was fright in his pallid features, fear in his writhing mouth. I'm scared, I don't want to die. No, stop.